Hey guys, it's Gail with Everything Nash, back again with Whey Jennings. I love talking to you so much.
I love talking to you too.
I feel like we always solve world problems when we talk.
We do. We solve them and more come about. That's the way it works.
So annoying. Okay, but we're here to talk about your album, Jekyll Hyde. Coming out, I was shocked. In fact, when Jason sent it to me, I went back and looked. Your debut album, because you've released so much music, but this is your debut full album. Talk about it.
It is. I put out a lot of EPs in the past. You know, I'm the kind of guy, and when you look back at my career, you're going to see that I did everything 3 or 4 different times, and all 3 or 4 times I did them wrong. You know, I didn't spend a lot of money on my career or time, and I just put out EPs for a lot of years, and then I started, you know, really taking this serious and trying to build up, you know, a career out of it, you know. And this year I felt like I needed to do a full album. It was in my wheelhouse to be able to do so. So we gathered about 22 songs, and then we narrowed them down to 12 that meant the most to me. And we put out what I think is one great album.
You wrote 9 of them.
Yes.
Why was that important to you?
Because, you know, I can't sing songs that ain't got something to do with me, you know what I mean? And a bunch of these songs, most of them have a lot to do with me, you know what I mean? Whether I wrote them or not, they're in my area of life, you know. They all mean something to me special, and I'm really proud to have them all on this album. A lot of people, they'll go about a theme, and I thought strongly about taking a theme on this album. Then I realized I needed to be the theme, you know what I mean? All these songs need to mean something to me, and whether they be, you know, something to make me laugh, something to make me feel good about where I've been, something to make me think about where I don't want to go back to, you know. And I just wanted to use this album to not only, you know, give myself the ability to heal, but also to let people know that healing is possible if you try hard enough and you're heading in the right direction.
Healing from?
I was addicted to drugs and alcohol for about 27 years of my life. Okay, that's a long time. It's like, but it seemed like it went by like that, you know. Started at a young age, and I was asked earlier if it had something to do with my grandfather, and I was like, no. These are all decisions I made on my own, and I can't put that on nobody but me. You know, I mean, at a young age, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd, and you know, at that point in time, you know, when you're a teenager, you're running around having fun. It's all fun and games, you know. And then you wake up one day and you're an adult, and it's not fun no more. You're trying to figure out how you're gonna pay the bills, and supply drug addiction, and then on top of that, 10 years later comes around, and the drugs you thought weren't never going to kill you, now they're putting stuff in it that can kill you dead, you know, and you're watching your friends drop like flies around you, and you're just like, at that point it's not fun no more, you know what I mean? When you're risking your life, it's a whole nother world, you know what I mean? Not to say that doing drugs back in the day was a good thing, but it was a whole lot less risky, you know what I mean? These days, I'm trying to make people aware of the outcome of a bad decision being that much worse than it ever has been in life, you know. So I'm trying to put out music that not only makes people feel good, but also makes people think, and let everybody know that no matter how dark your day may be or how long it's lasted, there's always time to fix yourself and stand back up and do the right thing, you know.
I love that. I want to talk to you about your one song, which I loved so much, 10-Day Run. My dad was a long-distance truck driver for most of my life. So I love that song so much. Talk about it.
Well, when I was young, you know, we had a lot of trucking songs come out, you know, like Eastbound and Down, it had to do with the Bandit and all, and, you know, Convoy, Rubber Ducky, and all that. And they were always just good songs. I feel like there's always been a place in country music for trucking songs, and for some reason nobody's put one out for a long time. And trucking has been like a big part of my life. Like my stepdad was a trucker, all my uncles were truckers. I mean, I've known truckers my whole life, you know, and I just felt like this country is still thriving because of truckers. Why have we not paid respect to them like they should be? So I put out a rock and country song, and I just added in a crazy wife for spice.
But that's not autobiographical, of course.
Oh, no, it's not autobiographical. Best wife on earth. But that trucker don't, I tell you that.
It's a good song. It's a really good song. You're touring a lot too.
Yeah, I'm all over the place, man. I've just played CCMF this year. That was one of the biggest shows I've ever played. Played with like 40,000 people. And I don't know if you know the feeling or not, but you can get 40,000 people to put their hands in the air. That's 80,000 hands doing this back and forth. And man, I never felt anything like it. And like I said, I spent a lot of years on drugs, and that feeling right there was something new to me. It was great.
So every other time we've talked about EPs and kind of leading up to this project. What's your goal with this project? Now you have a full body of workout. What's your goal with it?
Well, my goal with this project is to show up and put my foot through the door and let everybody know that I'm here. You know what I mean? Like my whole life, I've always had one album out there that I've heard that I wanted to do that, and that was Jamie Johnson's album, That Lonesome Song. You know, that album had an effect on me like nothing ever. You know, and I love my grandfather, and all his music had a great effect on me. But when that album hit, I wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Just the way it flowed. It wasn't even necessarily just the songs. It was the way the songs flowed into one another, and just kind of showed a whole. It was almost like the whole album was one big song. Almost, it was one thing, and I was like, man, I gotta be able to do that. You know what I mean? Because I've always thought that songs are too short, and videos you got to cram too much in them in a short period of time. But if you can make it into like a walk of life situation, it's almost like a movie. That's something I'd like to accomplish, and I feel like I got pretty close to it on this one.
Do you have a song on the record that you feel like is most you?
Most me.
It felt, when I was listening to it this morning, it felt so authentic. It was so refreshing. I was like, oh, because I feel like I know you, and it just felt so much like you.
It is. It's 100% like me. You know what I mean? It's like me and like a lot of other people that I walk through life with. You know what I mean? I was able to write with a bunch of cool people on this, and to sit here and list them all would take a long time. But they're all really great writers. They'll be listed on the album. They're really awesome. Off the top of my head, David Wade and Wes Shipp and Sam Lowe are three of them. Shane Grove also, and a few other writers. But the one that's closest to me, it has to do with addiction, and it's called Sleeves. And it's the one I'm trying to get to the masses. And we're gonna have to put a trigger warning at the beginning of it because it's really a hard thing to watch. But it's really something you need to watch. You know what I mean? Because just because it's an ugly story don't mean it can't have some kind of glimmer of hope at the end of it. And this song does that. And I just didn't want to aim another song at drug addiction. Okay, I had to aim this song at the support systems of people who are going through it, because the first thing I learned in rehab was you need to have a strong belief in God and a strong support system, and you got to be able to admit to yourself you have a problem. You know, I mean, if you can accomplish those three things, then it's all uphill, all downhill from there. You know, I mean, you just got to put in the work and get the distance in between you and your addiction. And that's what I'm trying to do with this song, is try to open up the eyes of the people who aren't necessarily doing the drugs, but are watching their loved ones kill themselves, you know.
Well, I love so much that you talk about sobriety, because a lot of people don't, and it's important.
It is very important, especially in this day and age. I mean, I've learned a lot in the last 4 years, you know. I mean, there's so many things that make you feel so much better than any kind of drug or alcohol ever could, you know. Like, I jumped out of an airplane last year, you know, and I was like, this is amazing. I want to do this again. You know, I even got my wife and my manager to jump out with me. It was crazy in Austria. And we go hiking. I went hiking in the Swiss Alps. I went hiking through the mountains of Pennsylvania. I mean, we got to go out with my kids and go swimming or go, you know, skating and even gardening. I mean, people say I'm getting old when I say that kind of stuff, but, you know, it's just, I like to see happy young kids and people taking walks with their dogs, things like that. You know what I mean? Those things right there make you feel so much better than any drug or alcohol ever could.
Awesome. Well, Jekyll Hyde out in August.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.